Welcome to the webinar summary of the Quality Improvement Group meeting, which took place with FE Sussex on the 7th of February 2017. This being part of the PEN project, Professional Exchange Network project, which is sponsored by the ETF. And a quick reminder for colleagues outside our area that FE Sussex is the consortia of the Sussex colleges, and you can see the spread of our organisation on the map. And welcome to our colleagues from Surrey as associate members. So the purpose of this webinar is to record the knowledge and tell you what went on at the FE Sussex Quality Improvement Group, or QIG, meeting of the 7th of Feb. Provides a reference source for colleagues, so please feel free to pass the webinar presentation on. And of course the whole thing is about knowledge exchange. So on the agenda we've had an update from NCFE, the awarding body, feedback from HMI regarding various aspects of Ofsted inspection, the information regarding curriculum development project funding, some of it which is available through the ETF, an interesting discussion on high needs students and coping with the demands of those, and finally a thorough update by Pearson on the HE quality arrangements. Now, Clarissa Harrington, who's the Southern representative for NCFE, gave a thorough update on NCFE qualifications. You can access her slides through the FE Sussex network, and I've put the address on the screen for you there. You will have to, of course, have a login, and if you haven't got one of those, that's easily available as well. The information exchange with Ofsted. Now this was very interesting. Ofsted senior HMI came along to talk to college principals on I think it was the 24th of January 2017, and I've distilled the salient points of their session that morning into the bullet points on this slide and the next. So the first point to make was that we're all aware of the changes to apprenticeships, the levy that's coming in, and the alterations from frameworks to Trailblazer standards. So that's coinciding with a review of inspection methodology and an update of the handbook. That's not been released yet, but it will be a question of watch this space. But within inspections of apprenticeship provision, and actually I assume of college provision as well, and it is of college provision as well, there's going to be a greater emphasis on the use of technology to gather the views of students and employers, and those will be Skype interviews, there'll be whatever it takes. The Ofsted line was, as a college you don't have to worry, just make sure that you've got email access set up and Ofsted will do everything else. I don't doubt that that's the case, but it's a good early warning for all of us involved in inspection. Significant, and we all know this one, a significant challenge in English and maths that's being looked at in inspection. It was emphasised that, again, it's not a limiting grade, but you do need to make sure that you're maximising your chances of success for students in terms of English and maths. And we're also looking at work experience, progression, destinations, how you plot that, how useful is it, and how you evaluate it as well. We also looked at the new accountability measures coming out. At the moment, QSR data is used by Ofsted inspectors, and we were informed that that situation won't change. It will stay the same until you are otherwise notified. So though accountability measures and all of the 100 and something pages you need to read about it is on the way, it's not actually affecting Ofsted inspections yet. The next item from HMI came as a result of a question from one of our colleagues in Sussex, which was how often are outstanding colleges likely to be inspected? And the answer was it depends on the risk factor. So if there's a dip in results or significant changes or financial challenges, that's likely to trigger an inspection. But if none of those situations occur, then it may be that no inspection will occur as yet. Another question related to the inspection of multi-campus and merged colleges. So to set the record straight, we were clearly informed that they're classed as a new organisation. The grades which were attributed to the colleges going into merger are not inherited by the new single entity college, So it's a start again job, and that new college will be inspected within 3 years normally, subject to a risk assessment. So again, a dip in exam results, financial difficulties, change of principal, etc. Would perhaps trigger that inspection in advance of that. The other question which we were asked about was college subsidiary companies. And some colleges have set up apprenticeship delivery companies or commercial companies which are providing SFA funded provision. And it was clearly articulated to us that those college companies are inspected as separate institutions. They're separate from the main college, so therefore they're providers in their own right, and they will be inspected as such. Now that actually does give, and in the debate that follows, that was quite interesting because it does give quality improvement colleagues, directors of quality and so on, an interesting case to handle because they have to produce their own policies, procedures, documents and everything for the college subsidiary company. And that's going to sit alongside the normal college documentation, policies and procedures for inspection. The next item on the agenda was some interesting information giving. I'm very interested in this. There is project funding available for curriculum development projects, and as FE Sussex we're contracted to provide mentors and supervisors for projects. They can include, well, they are academic and curriculum improvement projects which lead to outstanding teaching and learning. They are competitive, so you've got to get your application sorted out, but there is advice and guidance available both from project mentors who've been appointed via the company delivering this contract for the Education and Training Foundation, and you can find all the information out at the addresses on the screen, or the address on the screen. You'll also notice I've put my own email address there because I am one of the project mentors. So if you can firstly read the flyer, which is available on the HTTPS address, and then you can contact me with any particular questions or information or guidance that you would like, and I'd welcome hearing from you. Our next subject in the Quality Improvement Group meeting was that of high needs students, and as with all these things, nobody's got the solution, the definitive solution, but there were some quite interesting points which came out. So there's a good discussion around the deployment of learning assistants, and you can see that I've popped on the screen there. Some colleges assign them to a student on a one-to-one basis for the whole program, so they become very buddied up with them, and the student's very used to working with them. An alternative strategy to have a team or a pool of them providing support as required. And there's pros and cons for both, which we did talk about. One of the problems actually was the difficulty in recruiting learning support assistants, and especially working outside the normal working day of 9 till 5. But actually that was compounded by the fact that many had childcare responsibilities and had to leave college by, say, 3. And therefore it was difficult to provide cover into twilight hours and then into the evening. But the point was made that the LSA is the link between different areas of the college and the learner, and very often the learner identifies with the LSA more than anyone else. Carrying on with high needs students, we had a good ranging discussion over some of the problems that are now presenting themselves in colleges which didn't do before. That includes mental health issues, and one example given was attachment disorder. They're becoming more prevalent. Some colleges have responded by appointing a mental health coordinator, and that had been viewed at inspection as particularly good practice. But it was acknowledged there was a whole arena opening up for the need to provide CPD to learning support assistants. We also needed, of course, learning support assistants that were confident in the delivery and understanding and the ability to assist with vocational maths and vocational English. And it was interesting to note that several colleagues around the table reported that there was a tendency for parents of high needs students to expect the same level of support that their son or daughter received in school. And of course that doesn't actually happen in college. So there was some sort of expectation management there to make sure that parents were familiar with what would be happening. The final part of the morning was devoted to an update from Pearson's on HE. I popped the slides and information again on the HTTP address for FE Sussex, and it's available there on the screen. So finally I'd say, well, thank you, and I hope that was a good whistle-stop tour of the Quality Improvement Group meeting of the 7th of Feb. And our next meeting will be on Tuesday the 28th of March at Plumpton. And as usual, if you're an FE Sussex member or associate member, you're very welcome, and we do hope to see you there. Thank you.